guys, we have a special guest at the Tavern today. We've seen him on MLW, AAA, ROH Impact, and AEW. He is the current PPW champion. We have the young gun, Chandler Hopkins. Chandler, how's it going, man?
And everything is going well. It's been a crazy past couple of weeks, but everything's finally starting to settle down a little bit. But I'm glad to be here.
Nice. We're glad to have you too, man. I see you got that hardware behind you.
Yeah, I've got the good old Puro Pinche Wrestling Championship that I currently hold, and then of course I've got the WCWA Tag Team Championship that I currently hold as well. So I try to display them as much as possible. They put their faith in their time in me, and I like to give back to those companies. Two great companies. If you haven't been there, if you don't know where they're at, you should definitely look them up. Puro Pinche Wrestling is all over South Texas, mainly in Kingsville, and then WCWA is in Arkansas. I do believe it's Springdale, Arkansas. But yeah, if y'all ever get a chance, look them up. They're two great promotions on the rise.
That's awesome, man. I know you've been doing a lot of indie work around Texas, but correct me if I'm wrong, you grew up in Oklahoma, right?
No, I am Amarillo born. I am from Amarillo.
Oh, okay.
Raised. I was there for the first 17 years of my life. Whenever I was a junior, actually the second half of my junior year, my dad got a job in Oklahoma in the oil field, which moved us there. So I am a transplant in Oklahoma from about halfway through my junior year on.
Oh, okay. So Texas born and raised. Texas is like a hotbed of pro wrestling. So when you were growing up, just early fandom, like what was it that made you a fan of pro wrestling when you were growing up?
Honestly, whenever I was really young, I wasn't able to watch wrestling because my mom was a single mother. And she kept everything very G-rated. So I didn't really get to watch wrestling until I was about 12, 13 years old when my stepfather came into play. And he was a wrestling fan. So my mom worked nights at a hospital. And when she did that, he would come home from his day job, which he was a Cox guy. He installed digital cable there in Amarillo, Texas through Cox Communications. And we got all the pay-per-views for wrestling for free because of that. So I started getting to watch around the 2000, 2001 era, about the time that The Rock and Stone Cold's real big feud was really kind of going on, the Attitude Era, all that stuff. So that was really when I started watching, and just watching Rock and Austin just captivate a crowd. Like the second you would see The Rock come out and the crowd goes wild and all he does is look at him. Like,
Yeah.
Come on, right? So
Right.
I think that started my love for wrestling, and it just kind of continued from there and grew. But it really didn't like blossom into what it is until like about 26 years old. I was well out of high school and college. I tried to do the professional football route, even played a couple of years in semi-pro. Wasn't really going anywhere with it, so I was selling cars, and wrestling school kind of fell in my lap in Oklahoma, and I took the chance on it and said, hey, what the hell, why not? If you don't, you'll ask yourself, what if? And here we are 5 years later, and it's the biggest decision I've ever made in my life, but it's also the best decision I've ever made in my life. So looking forward to the future journey.
So walk me through, man. You're selling cars. How does wrestling school fall into your lap?
All right, so I was selling cars in Midwest City, Oklahoma, at a place called Huderberg Toyota, and the owner does a lot of sponsoring at Chesapeake Arena, and WWE had came through, so we got tickets, of course. One of the guys had actually won the tickets through a contest that we had at work that day, and I ended up getting second, and he asked if I'd like to go with him. So I said, sure. We showed up, and he was a big wrestling fan. So he starts telling me all these things about who this is and who that is and what the storyline is and why they do this. So I let him continue to tell me. And at the end of his, explanation of things, I was like, yeah, I know. And I just kind of started going through and telling him about things too. And he goes, you're a wrestling fan? And I was like, yeah, I am. Ever been to an independent show? And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, I grew up just watching WWE. Like, I didn't know what independents were. Every once in a while, I'd be able to watch ROH late night or Impact every once in a while. But for the most part, it was WWE. I didn't know what independence was. And he was like, bro, you've got to go. That's where you like get to see the young talent that's coming up. It's going to be where they're at in WWE or more. And I was like, cool, let's go check it out. went and checked it out. It was more personable. Like that's what I loved about the Indies. That's what I still love about the Indies is it's very just personable. You get to meet everyone, you get to greet with everyone, talk to them, see how things are, just pick their brains left and right. And, that's what I did. I went through on intermission and kind of talked to everyone, just kind of seeing what their thought process was on, the wrestling scene and how they liked it. And next thing I know, I'm hearing at intermission that they're doing tryouts and training camp for this promotion that I was at. And so I went to the website as instructed by the person at intermission and sent the email with all the details that I needed to send. And within about 5 minutes, I had actually had a reply back, and they were telling me that they would like me to come out to the school and see what I could do. The camp was like in 3 weeks, but it was on a weekend, and in car sales, you don't get weekends off. Like,
oh yeah,
that's sorry, you're here.
Yeah,
those are money days.
Yeah. I literally had to make a deal with my boss because I was in internet sales. I was running one of the internet sales departments as one of their managers there. And I had to tell him kind of what I was planning on doing. And at first it was like, yeah, sure you are. And then I kind of gotten to the point of, hey, it's this week. He was like, oh, you're being serious. I was like, yeah. And so he was like, all right. He was like, if you can maintain X amount of sales every time throughout every month while you're doing your training, I will give you your weekends off because I'm not going to have as much traffic to, get sales because it's just weekdays now. And so I thought about it. I was like, okay, cool. I can do that. Let's do it. No problem. So I kept up my part of the bargain. And for 6 months straight, I drove from Midwest City, Oklahoma, all the way down to Ardmore, Oklahoma, which was about a 2-hour drive, every Saturday and Sunday for about 6 months. And that's where I started training. That's how I got into wrestling. And here we are 5 years later, almost. It'll be 5 years in September. And it's just been one of the craziest rides I've been on. And I didn't expect to really get to do the things that I've got to do or meet or even see the people that I've got to meet and see. But I guess that's one of those things like I would have never known if I wouldn't have taken the opportunity. And that's the reason I got the opportunity is like it was in front of me, was never going to get it again. And it was better than selling cars.
So what were those 2-hour car rides like in the early days of training? Because I'm guessing we've all heard the stories. I'm guessing you're making this drive and you're probably sore and beat up. And you're driving to get a little more of that. Like, what was there moments of like, man, this is tough?
There was a lot of doubt. There really was. Even the first day I was heading down there, like the night before, I couldn't sleep. I had like these butterfly type things in my stomach that just was putting me in knots. I was like, man, what is going on? I sweat the entire time all the way down to the training center. I get there and everyone's putting the ring up and they're all going and doing the thing. And I'm just like, this is it. Like, time to put up or shut up, and
right.
Mentality was, if I was going to do it, I was going to give it everything I had, and I wasn't going to say no. I was going to say, all right, let's try it. Because it was only once. It was, if something bad happened, cool, done, over with, back to selling cars. But after a while, yeah, it was grueling. There's not a whole lot of people that show up to a place to wrestle thinking they're going to be trained at a certain way and then get thrown pretty much straight to the wolves like I was. My very first day in training, I learned how to back bump, face bump, flip bump. I learned how to run the ropes. I learned how to jump off the top ropes. And at the end of the night, I had a 7-minute match with one of their actual trained wrestlers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I will not name the promotion because they're no longer up, and I just will leave it at that. But yeah, I really got thrown to the wolves, but I also learned at a quicker pace because of that. The body was taking the damage. The rides back and forth were rough, but in my mind, I was sitting there saying like, stop being a baby. Don't gripe about it. Don't bitch about this, because once you start wrestling places, you're going to wrestle and then turn around, drive 3-4 hours back wherever, stay the night, get up next day and do it again. Like, this is what you want, put up or shut up. So I kind of like forced my body to just like go numb to the pain for a while. It got really bad right before I debuted. And my body just wasn't used to it, you know, and I was just ran through the ringer at training because that's what they did. And it may have been good for me. It was good teaching and training to me because I'm a hands-on learner there. And I enjoy that better. I don't like to really read books or watch videos or take notes because that doesn't work for me. I'm just a hands-on learner. So when they threw me to the Wolves, for me, it was a fast track. I got to work with these guys. I was getting X amount of matches every single month because they were a weekly promotion. So things were really good in that aspect. So I put up and shut up. I didn't worry about the pain. I said, hey, this is what you want. Stop griping and go get it. So that's what I've done so far.
Now, and you've came from an athletic background, but dealing with the pain of the ring and all of that stuff, obviously that's going to take its toll. But what was it like picking up on maybe the psychology aspect of pro wrestling in those early training days?
So the psychology was actually something that I feel like I picked up pretty fast, simply because whenever I was younger and my dad was telling me or showing me wrestling at first, he made sure to let me know because of the way my mom was that it was fake. It was not fake, but it was choreographed. It was scripted. It was a story. We were telling stories.
Right.
And he let me know that early on. So I kind of understood that at a young age. And not only did I watch just wrestling because I enjoyed the guys and the entertainment, but I started to kind of pick up why. And my dad was one of those guys that he already understood kind of like the psychology. He was never a wrestler, but he understood the stories that they told. So he would ask me questions like, why do you think they did that? Or look, this is fixing to happen now because this happened. So I would have those little seeds planted in my head. But when I started wrestling, it was one of those things where I just wanted to do the cool moves at first, like most people do. But once I started to kind of figure out my move set, it was really one of those things that the psychology clicked because I had the right people around me. I wrestled Chavo Guerrero 7 months into my career. I wrestled the Steiner brothers about 11 months into my career. I got to meet DDP and get advice from him about right at a year in my career. Like there were so many things that led to me getting to where I'm at early on in my career that if those things didn't happen that way, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So the psychology really got instilled into me really, really quick. And I'm a storyteller. I enjoy stories. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the fast-paced, flippy wrestling as well. I do, because that is an art in itself. But I enjoy taking my time and telling a story at a slower pace. Like I don't want to give the crowd everything every time. I don't want to sit there and go out and give you every single move. I want you to want to come back for some reason. If I give it to you every single time you're at the show, why are you going to come back and see me the next time? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
Those are things that were just put into my head very young. And I think myself and Fuego del Sol and the Magnificent Malaco took really like the lead in that aspect when we were training, because we all trained together. We all came up together right there in that area. We all, whenever no one else would, us three were at the training facility with each other, putting in the work, teaching, and just really kind of honing each other's skills on one another. And I think that's why all three of us have gotten to where we're at in our careers right now. I mean, look at Fuego. He's doing great things at AEW. Magnificent Malaco is making waves all through the South, really, honestly. And now he's up in Tennessee killing it for USA Championship, I think, as well. So, I mean, we're just three hungry guys that want it bad enough to go out and do whatever it takes. And we learned very early on that the story is what matters, not the move.
Yeah, you talked about Fuego. We saw Fuego over the weekend in Jacksonville, and to look down and see the crowd just going crazy and him standing up and throwing his, and to see tornado DDT signs, like
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to see that. Now, you've credited Chavo Guerrero with helping shape your style. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship and what specifically Chavo did to help shape your style?
So whenever me and Chavo were announced to wrestle each other, I was very shocked because I wasn't expecting to get to wrestle anyone of that caliber for years, honestly. And then when I found out that Chavo asked for the match, it boosted my confidence, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it was like, now you have to perform. So I came in knowing that I was going to have to do better than I'd ever done and perform at a higher scale than I'd ever performed at just in that match. And I was the champion for that promotion at that time. And the owner was very reluctant to let me wrestle him because he didn't want me to lose the belt. And Chavo told him early on, he was like, I don't want him to lose the belt. He was like, I want to wrestle him. And when I got to the arena that day, I went straight to him and I let him know it was going to be an honor to be able to step in the ring with him. And I appreciated his willingness to be there. And he said, cool, man, I need a couple things from you. I said, okay, cool. And I thought we were going to kind of plan things out. He asked for my finisher, a couple moves I did, and my comeback. And once I gave him those, he said, cool, see you out there. And he walked away. He Chavo Guerrero until he came through the curtain to meet me in the ring for our match in the semi-main event. I'm getting in that ring and I have no clue, none, what I am doing.
Oh,
I am sitting there like, holy crap. What should I do? So the whole time he's walking to the ring, I'm sitting here going, all right, cool, I got this. I know I can do this. I can do this. So I'm starting to think of things I can call on the fly to him. We get in there and he calls the entire match on the fly to me. And that right there taught me right in that instant that I didn't have to plan A to Z. And that was a huge stress relief because the less you have to remember in that ring, the more you can keep your attention on the crowd, which is the whole reason we're there in the first place. We are there to I'm not there to sit here and worry about if I'm going to miss a spot or if I'm going to F something up, you know?
Right.
That right there and early on in my career was the biggest confidence boost to myself because then I knew if I can go a whole cold called match with Chavo Guerrero, I can wrestle anybody at any point in time. And that was just a confidence boost. After we wrestled and he put me over, he took the mic, told the entire crowd that I shouldn't even be as good as I was at that point in time. I was about a kindergarten style into the wrestling business and I was wrestling like I was a vet. And to hear that and to see that, man, it just did leaps and bounds for me and my career because that was Chavo Guerrero. Like,
oh yeah.
That doesn't come lightly. And for him to ask for the match, like it was like he was challenging me. He wanted to see if I would stand up or if I was just going to flop. And that day after the match, he gave me the biggest career boost anybody's done. And he put me over big.
Yeah, that's awesome to see something like that because he saw something in you. And for him, it was like that test. Okay, I think I see something. Let's see if this kid really has it.
Right. And that's kind of the way I took it. And I don't know, it's something that I never would have expected ever in my career, honestly. Like I never would have thought that I would have even been in the ring with him. But just for him to go out on an even, I don't know, it's just, I still think back at it and I get flustered. Like I'm sitting here sweating right now, just thinking about that moment and like what it means to my career. And then a lot of people wouldn't know or even have even seen me if it wasn't for that match. And I can guarantee that.
Now I've heard you say that you've heard that when you started wrestling as the young gun, you know, people would say, you know, the cowboy gimmick's been played out. It won't work. There's so many cowboys out there. And you said, no, it's not played out. What makes your young gun gimmick different? And what was the genesis of the young gun gimmick? How did you come to that?
So I wanted to be a cowboy from the very beginning. And I was told, no, it wouldn't work by the promoter that I was at. So I was forced into kind of like doing a little truth gimmick. I wasn't really happy with it. And finally, an instance came up at a rodeo where they wanted cowboys versus Indians. And we had two guys that did the Arrow Club gimmick. So I got to do the cowboy gimmick with another person and it took off. So I started sitting there thinking like, okay, how can I make this different? What's not going to make it the exact same as every other person? And I started thinking about what I could bring to it. Like, what is different about me than every other person? And it was simple. I am an agile guy. Most cowboys you see come into wrestling are big, monstrous guys that throw lariats. They're going to throw you around, they're going to power bomb you. They're going to spit in your face, and they wear trunks all the dang time. They got a beer gut.
Yeah.
I was not going to go in there and toss people around. I was not going to go in there and lariat someone's head off of them. And I knew that. But I had a mixed martial arts background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai. So I knew I could do something similar. So I used my feet. I have a lot of kicks that I do that I have done throughout the years. And I said, cool, I'm going to go aerial with this. And not only am I going to go aerial with this, but I'm not going to wear trunks, and I'm going to go full denim. And they told me, you're going to sweat your ass off in denim. And I said, yes. You know, I really kind of adopted the whole Canadian tuxedo thing. And that's what my whole persona is based off of now, is everything's denim. I'm a flashy, high flying. I will kick your head off. I won't take it off. I'm not going to throw you around, but you're going to respect me. If not, I'll run circles around you. The gimmick came up because of two of my favorite movies. And it's two of my favorite characters from these movies. The Young Guns.
Great movie.
One of my favorite movies of all time. And Emilio Estevez plays Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid is the cocky side of my young gun. He is my, hey, I'm here to kick your ass if you want it, let's go kind of side. I'm not going to take no crap from you. I'm here. If you want to go, let's go. The other movie was Top Gun, my other favorite movie. And I took from Tom Cruise's character, Maverick, I took kind of like the sexy lady man's persona.
Yeah.
So I put those two together and kind of mashed them into one. And it's just been one of those kind of characters it's not like it's just crazy different, but it's enough different to set itself apart to go, hey, he's got something. And I think that's what's gotten me to where I'm at. It's the little subtleties that they see in me. It's the little differences as well that just set me apart from what normal cowboy would be. And Hangman Adam Page, he's got a great way of going about it right now too. Like he's a bigger guy. He will knock your head off, but he is a very agile guy as well. So his cowboy is not the same as everyone else's as well. It's almost pretty much like mine, but except for he's got the brute strength. I'm more of an agile, run circles around you. So I don't know, maybe one day we could team up and seal together. That would be awesome. But that's kind of where my persona as the young gun came into play, because I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be that cowboy. So I make sure to tell everyone, like, they're like, oh, you're Young Gun Chandler Hopkins. No. I'm not Young Gun. I'm the Young Gun. Like, I put the V in front of it. I'm not just a young gun. I'm the one that matters. I'm the cowboy that's doing it. Put the in front of it. So that's, I think the statement and how I say the name also matters so much versus just like Young Gun Chandler Hopkins. Like, there's got to be an emphasis on something. Why am I that guy? Oh, I should pay attention because he is the guy. Like, he's not just some other guy saying he's this. He is the, okay, all right, let's pay attention to see what he just kicked that dude in the face. All right. So that's kind of the way I went with it. Just more agile, more fast-paced, tried to throw the cockiness but confident kind of sexy cowboy thing in there. And the all denim, I think, really works because it attracts both sides, honestly. Women like it because it's tight pants on a man, right?
Yeah.
I have a shirt on and I'm showing my muscles. Cool. Guys enjoy it because they're not looking at some dude in a Speedo wrestle. It's like, all right, man, let's see what you got. So yeah, it's been a crazy kind of cool twist, but there are some new things fixing to come to the Young Gun, and I'm ready for y'all to see them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think you totally set yourself apart. And at the end of the day, I mean, the people that are saying there's too many cowboys or cowboy gimmicks don't work. Cowboy gimmicks are a staple of pro wrestling. They'll always be there. They're great.
You got to have the cowboy, man.
You got to have the cowboy.
There's got to be some tough-headed redneck kicking people's ass for the hell of it. Come on now.
Exactly. Now, you're out on the indies. Walk us through, a typical day when you have an indie show that evening. the travel on the road, what music are you listening to in the car? Do you have any pre-match rituals? What's a day of an indie show like for you?
So usually it starts with if I'm already in the town, if I'm not traveling, or if I traveled in the night before, it's usually get up early, go to a gym, and make sure I got some breakfast in me. That's usually the first thing I do. If I'm traveling there, it's usually one of those things of get up as early as I can, because I would like to be there about 3 hours before call time, because I want to get a workout in before I go to the show. So it's usually that's the way the morning starts. Once I kind of get to the show, of course, I go around and do my meet and greet with everyone, tell them, hey, hi, how are you? It's just us being respectful of wrestlers, correct? But from that point on, it's like one of those things, okay, now it's game time. It's time to come to work. So I like to go walk the ring first. It's usually the first thing I do, especially if I haven't ever been in the ring before. I like to go check out the ropes. I like to make sure where the little divots are in the ring, if there is any. Softer spots, where the stairs are for certain moves, areas where I can dive. I like to make sure that like I have room to play around the outside if need be, and kind of just go over some things I would like to do in my head, like on the fly versus calling it. Then it's usually I get with my opponent, whoever I am working that evening, and we just kind of walk through some things that each other have kind of thought about. Make sure that we can do them if it seems too difficult, or if it seems like it might take a little bit of practice to make sure it's down. And then really from there, it's just, I get dressed, music's usually in. It's usually anything from like NF, Logic. I've been listening to a lot of like Red Dirt country as well, or motivational speaking. That's usually what I listen to right before I go out to the ring. Like, just getting my mind in the zone, going over things I need to go over, and kind of just getting ready, you know. I usually do a couple of push-ups here and there, just to kind of make sure my blood's pumping and I'm good to go. It's good to have that circulation of blood going before you get in the ring. You don't get blown. I think a lot of guys make that mistake of not working out a little bit before you go out. And then they get blown 2 or 3 minutes in because their body's like, whoa, you went from zero, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I like to go through that motion as well. Always stretch literally about 5 minutes before I go out. I like to just get a real good stretch in. I don't want to pull nothing, tear nothing, you know. I don't want any injuries. So that's usually the last thing I do. And then right before I go through the curtain, the last thing I do is I bow my head down and I say, you fucking belong here. And I go through the curtain. And I do my whole thing. From that point on, it's just entertainment. Fly by the seat of my pants and make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That's awesome.
So with Cody Dixon, your tag team, the Young Guns, you guys have stepped in the ring with a lot of great tag teams. And so what was it like working with the Steiner brothers or Santana Ortiz?
Man, first off, shouts out to Cody. I know he's doing great things in the military. Wish him all the luck. Love him, miss him. Hope he's good. But I had some of my favorite times with that guy. Wrestling the Steiners, when we found out we were going to do that, and LAX, like we wrestled those guys back-to-back nights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we wrestled LAX the night before, and then we turned around and went down and wrestled the Steiners the next night. And it was one of those things of like, I think together we were glad that we had someone there to kind of share that with, because in that moment, like it was very overwhelming, especially going from cool, I wrestled Chavo. Now, oh crap, I'm fixing to step in the ring with 2 younger guys that are Impact Tag Team champions that are just as good and fast as I am. So holy crap, let's go. And it was really kind of one of those things that sucked, because we were going through just some of the stuff we were doing beforehand. And Cody ended up tweaking his knee just a little bit, and it was really tender and sore, and we didn't want him to tear anything or hurt himself any further before the next night. So we kind of had to minimize what he was doing just to keep him safe as well. So he came in for the hot tag at the very end, but we had about a 20-minute match with these guys, and I was in there the entire time until the hot tag. There was so much to remember. There was so much to just make sure I was in the right spot for. One thing I knew I didn't have to worry about was my cardio. I knew no matter what, I could stay in there as long as I had to be. I just had to make sure I was in the right spots. But Santana and Ortiz are so dang good that they put you where they need you to be. And if you're not, they make sure you get there somehow. Like, they talk to you, but not necessarily with their voice. It's more so body positioning that they're talking to you with. And if you just kind of pay attention to them, they kind of guide you where they need to go. And they're so smooth and so good. But having that match with those two and getting to share the entire moment with Cody was just, it's probably one of my favorite matches I've gotten to do in my entire career. And it was early on in my career. The next night we got to wrestle the Steiner brothers, which was a little bit more intimidating, not because, you know, they're faster or stronger or anything like that. It's because of the freaking Steiner brothers. Like, like, get German on your head, buddy. We get there and we knew there wasn't going to be anything like last night, the night before match. It was going to be more of a, hey, we're going to do some gimmicks here. We're going to entertain. We're going to bite your butt, do the whole thing, right? So we get in there and we're going through kind of the couple of things I want to do. And the promoter comes up and goes, oh, by the way, y'all are heels tonight because they're going to cheer the Steiners to their babyface. And at that moment in time, I was like, oh, so it changes on a whim. Holy crap. So I went from being a babyface the night before to going heel against the Steiner brothers, which was awesome because we got to put heat on the Steiner brothers and they coached us through it the entire time. Sorry. They literally was telling us, hey, take me here, do this, take me here, do this. And it was all heat stuff that they would do, that they had done, that they had put into their repertoires. So it kind of let me know right then and there, like, holy crap, I can help a heel as a babyface too by being in certain positions for him. So all these things are happening within a year of me debuting in wrestling. And I'm getting to put these in my mind, like locking them up in a safe with a key and a lock that nobody else can get into and keeping them to myself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
On that. And I'm just like, holy crap. Another thing I've learned. I can help the heel. Cool, let's do that now. So I think that's where that match specifically with the Steiner brothers is where I learned like most of my selling and positioning as a babyface, and why I enjoy being a babyface so much, because as a babyface, you do get to get your butt kicked, but at the same time, like, you get to do just as much towards the end. You just have to make the heel look just as good. And most babyfaces will take a move and lay down. They'll just stay there. They won't move, or they'll go to the same corner every time, or they'll roll to the ropes. Like, you can do so much more to help a heel with all the positioning and stuff if you will work with him. Take a shot, sell to a corner, let him come get you, try and hit him, go to chop him, tell him to duck, and let him hit you back. Ha ha ha. He comes back, pop him, yo, you know, like out of nowhere, man. If you just do those things on the fly and the crowd themselves actually sees that you're doing it on the fly, and they can read whenever something's been rehearsed and when you've actually just done it on the fly in the ring. Like, they can tell whether people say they can or not. There's fans that are like, oh, hey, that wasn't planned, but it looked good. And that's something that the Steiners taught me. That was something that I learned within a 15-minute match that has helped me succeed so much in my career.
That's so fascinating, because from learning from the Steiners to the Chavo Guerrero match to you coming up with the young gun gimmick, you, like, just through those stories, we're really getting a peek into how you became who you are right now.
Yeah,
just
it's
through those 3 moments.
It's really been a crazy ride. And like I said before, like, sometimes I just look back and I'm like, man, how did I get here? And then I had to do things like this, and I sit here and start playing back certain parts of certain matches, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's how you got. Okay, I see it. It's nice to do these though too. Like, a lot of wrestlers are like, oh, I don't have time for podcasts, or you got to pay me for a podcast. Like, whatever, man. Like, these things are fun. I enjoy them because you just talk about stuff that sometimes you forget about in wrestling. Like, just good memories that sometimes we need to realize why we're here and how we got here because of those. Not like, oh, I'm here, now it's my turn, you know, like, why? How? Oh man, like, come on. So
So you've had matches with Fuego del Sol, Matt Sydal, Chavo, we spoke about, Flip Gordon, Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk. Is there one match out of all of your matches, outside of the ones we've spoke about, that kind of sticks out to you where maybe something happened or you learned something that you take with you to this day?
I would say the match that is really kind of, well, there's probably two of them, honestly, that are at the top at my stick point as to like the biggest things. One is my match against AR Fox at VIP. That match taught me just how far I could go. It pushed me to my ultimate limit. That was probably the fastest paced match I had ever done. And with AR Fox, who is just as fast as myself. And that night after we got through with that match, we both had so much respect for each other. And his first words to me after that match were, "Why the hell are you only in Texas?" My second match was, and that match right there was probably one of those things that was just like, hey, you should probably get out of Texas. But, the other match is probably against Low Key for MLW. And not because of like anything that I learned, but because of a certain respect that I gained from a man that most people in this industry think is probably one of the stiffest guys and hardest hitting guys there is. And after our match at MLW, I was rolling out of the ring to give him his time, to give him his thing. You know, that's what you're supposed to do. He stopped me, rolled me back into the ring, shook my hand and said, "Hell of a job, kid. Hell of a job." That in itself, like, gave me that respect factor. Like, oh, that came from Low Key.
Yeah, he doesn't give that out.
Yeah, and it was on national television. He did it on TV. Boom. That, after MLW, I will give him, thank y'all so much. Things took off. Things really were like, here we go. It was a roller coaster ride and it was going up, and all I could hear each click as it was going. And that was just, it was life-changing after that. And here we were fixing to be June 19th at Pell Pro Wrestling. And I'm probably going to have another match that's going to impact my wrestling career in massive ways, because I'm stepping in the ring with Mike Bennett. And Mike Bennett and Maria Canales came to the school that I started wrestling at almost 5 years ago now. I did their seminar, and me and Fuego wrestled each other at the end of their seminar in one of our little 5-minute matches. And they told both of us, they said, "You two are great. Y'all are amazing. You've got what it takes. The only thing you're missing is getting on the road and letting people see you." That was it. Both of them told us that. Told us we had a great look. We could do whatever we wanted to in the ring. We had great movement. We were smooth. Everything flowed well. You got to get the hell out of here and let people see your face. Right. That was the day that I knew, okay, hey, I've got to travel a little bit. Getting out, wrestling AR Fox, why the hell are you only in Texas? Hammer that nail in a little bit further. And I was like, God dang it. I was told this so long ago. It was about 3 years in at that point in time that I was like, man, I was told this. Why am I not doing it? Boom. That's all it took. I was out. I was gone. I was doing my own thing. Here we're fixing to be. And the man that told me that all I had to do to be successful in this business was get out and let other people see me, to grow my name, fixing to step in the ring with him. And it's going to be an honor. It's going to be a privilege. I'm excited. But at the end of the day, I just need him to know, no matter what, no matter how much I respect you, Mike, I've got to show you what I got. I'm going to give you everything I have, and I'm going to bring it. So I hope he brings it as well, because I want the best Mike Bennett he has, because I want to see where I stand with one of the best. And he is one of the best. I don't care what anyone says. That guy can tell a story.
Yeah.
That can do the athletic side if he needs to as well.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing. And I'm excited to step in the ring across from him, get to look into his eyes, and just make this dream a reality. And I'm going to get the 1, 2, 3. And if it has to be that way, and whatever happens afterwards with me and Mike happens, but I need to show him that I'm here to play as well. I'm not here just to stand in the back, sit in a corner and let everyone pass me by. I'm here to make a name for myself as well. And he just happens to be the next guy that I'm going to go up and I'm going to do it against.
Yeah, what a match that'll be. You guys match up, the styles match up on that. I wish I could be there for that one. That one, that's going to be a banger.
Title Match Network, you can watch it.
Awesome.
Oh, we'll definitely be doing that.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll be live on Title Match Network.
Title Match Network. Okay. And that was June 19th, correct?
June 19th.
And before we let you go, I did want to ask you about the time you spent at AEW. You've worked some matches there. What was that experience like?
AEW has been great. I've gotten to have 3 different matches there with them already. That every time, sorry, I got these burps. I just worked out, drank that protein before I got on here. No, AEW has been awesome. They've taken care of me every time I've been out there. Everyone in the locker room is really awesome. I know a lot of them personally just from being on the independents with them. So sometimes I forget that I'm even at AEW whenever I get to do that stuff. It's just like being at another independent show, but it's more so one of those things like just the camaraderie. Like they show you what it's like to be a family when you're somewhere like that. They show you what it means to be a part of an organization that takes care of their talent. The entire staff from top to bottom is nice to you. They welcome you. They make sure you're taken care of. It's just been a blessing, man. I really don't know any way to say it other than it's just been a real blessing for myself. It's been a blessing for a lot of wrestlers that were on the independent scenes. Like COVID hit hard and none of us really knew the direction wrestling was going to go. And AEW saved a lot of us. And they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to bring us in. They didn't have to bring us in to let us do things with their talent. But at the same time, like they did, they put time and effort into all of us that got to go up there and still getting to go up there. And it's become a big thing for them. They were smart about it. It's turned into multiple TV shows now with Elevation and Dark. Like, yeah, it's definitely somewhere I'm happy to be. And all I can say is keep watching.
We look forward to that, man.
And you get to hang out with fellow champ Maddie Rinkowski down there too. Huh?
Oh, don't even. I know, but I can't believe you brought that up, but because you brought it up, I'll make a statement. Maddie, you're still gonna lose. I don't know what your problem is. You can miss reality all you want. At the end of the day, I will be the top champion at PPW. I don't care if you've been there longer. You're more than welcome to reign next to me, though. I mean, I'll give you that aspect. You are a tough woman, tough cookie for sure. But at the end of the day, like, you're just not on my level. So see you. So we'll have fun. We'll do the whole dang thing. We promised everybody we would. So bring your championship because I'm going to take it. I'm not going to wear it. I'm going to put a tournament up for it, though, after I beat you. How about that? I'm going to let all the girls that want to come and we'll have a tournament for your championship that you can't enter in, though. All right? You can't enter. So Maddie, have a good day. We'll see you.
That's awesome.
If she sees it, she's going to blow it up on Twitter. So
yeah, we had her on a couple months ago. She was great. She's a star in the making too.
She's a hoot, man. She is a star in the making. She's very talented. It's crazy to see how far she's come in such a short amount of time. I was telling a few people that she works closely with the other day that she reminds me a lot of a younger me because she grinds so hard. She puts so much into this and, she's got a bright future really early into her career. So I think, we're going to see a lot more of Maddie. Keep your eyes on her. That doesn't mean she's going to beat me, though. She got some stuff to learn, but she's definitely going to be a star. Y'all should keep an eye out on her.
That's awesome. Well, man, before we let you go, we have one more question for you that we like to ask everybody. So, okay, the pandemic's over. You're out making towns again. You're driving the roads. You can have 3 wrestlers in the car with you, alive or dead. What 3 wrestlers are you bringing on the road with you?
definitely gonna put The Rock in there because he is literally probably one of my all-time favorites. I would like to have some attitude era type knowledge from him and just kind of like pick his brain. I would say AJ Styles because I literally believe he is the best wrestler in the entire world. The way he puts things together is just phenomenal. And then if I had to go old school, I'd probably go with Dusty Rhodes. I just feel like that guy, he could take a crowd and put them in the palm of his hand at any point in time and make them do whatever he wanted. He understood entertainment, and that is something that I think is very lost. And I would just love to sit in even just a 30-minute car ride with that man and just have him talk the entire time. So
yeah, what a genius.
What a car ride.
What a car ride.
Yeah, we would need a bigger car though, I think.
yeah, definitely. Now, Chandler, before we let you go, let everyone know where we can find you, where we can buy some merchandise. Tell us all about that.
So you can find me on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of them are at theyounggun_ch. I am fixing to start a Twitch channel as well, so get ready for that. That channel will be called Captain Pew Pew. And then what else do I have? Oh, merchandise. You can find merchandise on prowrestlingtees.com. I have a couple items up there right now, more soon to come. Or you can just direct message me on any of my social media platforms, and I have a lot more in stock here on me that I can just ship out to you. So that would be it.
Awesome, man. Well, June 19th, Title Match Network, The Young Gun versus Mike Bennett. That's going to be
a banger
of a match, and we can't wait to see it, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. You always have a seat here at the tavern to come back and talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all, and y'all have a great evening.
Thanks, man. You too.
See you, Chandler.
See you later, guys.